While the armies of World War II clashed across continents, a hidden war raged in the shadows. One fought not with tanks, but with wire cutters, explosives, and courage. These were the saboteurs, spies, soldiers, and civilians who risked everything to disrupt Hitler's war machine from behind enemy lines. From blowing up bridges and derailing Nazi trains to assassinating top SS officers, their missions were silent, swift, and often suicidal. But they helped tip the balance of the war. Sabotage is the art of destruction without confrontation, of crippling your enemy without ever facing them head-on. During World War II, sabotage became a weapon of choice for resistance fighters and Allied operatives. Their goal? To disrupt supply lines, communication, transportation, and morale. A single act, one train delayed, one radio tower cut, could shift the tide of a battle. These weren't grand invasions. They were silent detonations that echoed across the front. In Nazi-occupied France, trains were a lifeline for the German military, moving tanks, weapons, and troops to the front. The French resistance targeted them relentlessly. Using homemade explosives and stolen intel, saboteurs blew up rail lines, disabled switches, and even destroyed entire supply depots. One resistance fighter said, "We had no tanks, but we had dynamite. That was enough." Just before D-Day, coordinated French sabotage crippled German transport, delaying reinforcements to Normandy, a major factor in the Allied landing's success. Not all sabotage was about trains and bridges. Some targeted the very heart of Nazi leadership. In 1942, British-trained Czech agents carried out Operation Anthropoid, a bold plan to assassinate Reinhard Heydrich, one of Hitler's most ruthless enforcers. Heydrich was called the Butcher of Prague, architect of the Holocaust, and a man feared even by Nazis. As his car drove through Prague, the agents attacked with a grenade. He died days later from his wounds. The reprisal was brutal, entire villages destroyed. But the operation proved the Nazi elite were not untouchable. In the icy mountains of Norway, another mission was unfolding, one that may have stopped Hitler from building an atomic bomb. The Nazis were producing heavy water at a facility in Vemork, critical for nuclear research. In 1943, Norwegian saboteurs trained by the British parachuted onto a glacier, skied for days through blizzards, and infiltrated the plant. They set timed charges and escaped into the night. The mission was a complete success. The plant was destroyed, and Hitler's nuclear ambitions were dealt a severe blow. Many of Wie's saboteurs were women, their courage equal to any soldier's, their risks even greater. Violette Sabo, a British-French agent, parachuted into France to sabotage rail lines. She led resistance fighters in shootouts against SS troops before being captured and executed. Nancy Wake, the Gestapo's most wanted woman, coordinated sabotage cells that destroyed German convoys across southern France. They carried grenades in handbags, radios in corsets, cyanide pills in lipstick cases. Their legacy is carved not in statues, but in the bridges they blew apart and the lives they saved. On the Eastern Front, Soviet partisans waged one of the largest sabotage campaigns in history. Operating deep in Nazi-occupied territory, they destroyed thousands of railways, set fire to supply depots, and ambushed German patrols in forests and fields. Some were former soldiers, others were farmers or teenagers. By 1944, over 1 million Soviet partisans were active, tying down vast German resources and delaying their advance toward Moscow. Not all sabotage was physical. The Allies often used psychological warfare, sending fake orders to Nazi commanders, creating phantom units that existed only on paper, spreading disinformation to mislead Hitler's war council. In one operation, Allied agents forged Nazi documents instructing German units to abandon their posts, and it worked. This invisible sabotage turned Nazi discipline against itself. Saboteurs paid a terrible price. Captured agents were rarely taken prisoner. Most were executed on the spot. Families were punished. Entire towns wiped off the map as warnings. But they kept going. Every explosion, every derailment, every intercepted message was a rebellion, a blow struck from the shadows. As one resistance fighter later said, "We had no guarantee of success, only the certainty that silence would mean surrender." Today, the saboteurs of We remain largely unknown. But without them, the war might have dragged on years longer. More cities destroyed, more lives lost. They fought with stealth, with fire, with nerve. They weren't just behind enemy lines, they were inside its heart, tearing it apart from within. Their missions saved nations, and their courage demands to be remembered. Follow Time Chronicles to honor the forgotten heroes of history, the quiet, the fearless, the invisible.